more I'm watching this, the more I know that Louis de Pont du Lac is a lie and the truth ain't in him. Even back season 1, episode 3. Y'all, let's get into it.
Get it, don't be timid when you in it, fly that. Love up on it, give along, need it. I don't want no trip, baby, say it like
My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? Now, Louis really has been playing in our faces for 2 entire seasons, and I just can't get past it. Again, when you're watching this after watching season 2, your eyes are completely opened, y'all. We are back to talk Interview with a Vampire, season 1, episode 3, Is My Very Nature That of the Devil. And this episode opens up with Lestat giving Louis the history of the square that they're sitting in, honey. They on a date, and Louis cannot be bothered. He's like, I'm from New Orleans, okay? And Lestat is talking about this is where, they signed this treaty and they did all of these things. And Louis is like, oh, but did they tell you about the runaway slaves that they mounted their heads on these pikes in here? Did they say that in your little book? And Lestat's like, no, I didn't get to that point yet. And Louis is basically contemplating his purpose on Earth now, right? He's saying he doesn't have to feed on people. They should be more selective and select the worst of them, right? And Lestat is like, you're just trying to deny your nature. I gave you this dark gift and you can't even appreciate it. He's frustrated, right? And Louis is like, let's just try this new way of hunting. I don't care what you think. Everyone, no matter how accomplished they are, no matter how beautiful or brilliant, they are capable of abomination. That's it. That's all. Lestat is just mad that Louis is not embracing his new nature. In this episode, we are chilling at the Azalea, honey, and this is where we meet Antoinette Brown. Somebody we never should have ever had to meet. You know what I mean? And Lestat can't keep his eyes or hands to himself, apparently, in this episode, because thus begins their affair, okay? Louis doesn't want to unalive people. And Lestat says, listen, that's like being a fish that don't swim. That's a bird refusing flight. It's just not giving, okay? And so they're sitting there in the Azalea, and Jelly Roll, their pianist, right, who runs the band there, is playing, and I guess it's just been, one note according to Lestat, and so Lestat starts roasting him, and is like, you can't do that, and Jelly Roll gets up and is like, you can do better. Lestat's like, matter of fact, let me show you, and again, don't play with him. Don't play with Lestat. Lestat pissed me off bad in the first 2 episodes of season 1. I can't lie. But this one, again, it's just got me thinking that Louis is just a liar. So I probably do like Lestat. Like, I can't stay mad, Lestat. I can't stay mad at him. And so he gets up there, and apparently Lestat is the one who wrote the Wolverine blues. Okay, that's just it. Present day, we're back talking to Daniel, and Daniel's like, listen, we got 3 versions of the same story. Which is the truth, Louis? You lie. You lie like a rug. Louis be lying, y'all. Okay. And Daniel is like, this is that abused abuser narrative. He said, back in 70s, you were telling me Lestat did all manner of evil against you. And now you done flipped the script 50 years later. So was the truth that you told me in the 70s true? The truth that you were on the tapes, or what is it? And so Louis is like, it's admittedly the tapes from the 70s were a performance, but now this is more true. And so then Louis comes up with Daniel's book, and where a quote where Daniel is basically talking about he had written about him having a Buick and driving off in the sunset, and the wife reminded him he never even had a Buick. And so Louis says, permit me this odyssey. I may have confused things. All the while Armand in the background, aka Rashid, back there knowing he done messed up Louis' mind. That's why Louis can't remember what the truth is or a lie. They don't know. Back in Louisiana, Louis is the prince of the district, but things are starting to go up topsy-turvy, okay? Baby Lestat is flirting with that Antoinette right in front of Louis. Louis in the back feeding on rats. Lestat and Antoinette working together at this point because Louis' libido is not what it was. He says, my libido wasn't what it was, okay? So I wasn't giving the cootenanny to Lestat. And Lestat and Antoinette busy hunching, but Louis just says, not in my bed. Okay. The Azalea people are talking about Louis and Lestat, according to Antoinette. And she want to know the tea. And she's like, because I like it all. I like them chocolate. I like them vanilla. I like them soft. I like them hard. She likes everything. Okay. And Louis is just disgusted. Like, just don't go up in my bed. Lestat is just so shady though for doing this right in front of the face. And so basically they have a conversation where they talk about they're exclusive. Of course, they'll be together for a lifetime. Okay. But he likes to have his little dalliances, baby. He likes variety. Variety is the spice of life. And so Louis, like, I can screw anybody I want to as well. And he says, sure. Sure. And Louis, talking about, aren't I enough? And Lestat laughs in his face. It says, baby, we'll have 10,000 nights together. From time to time, I wanna do what I wanna do. Okay. And Louis like, so you didn't unalive her. And Lestat says, no, she's got talents. And we all know. Lestat likes his toys. I think the humans that he likes, he really likes. And he wants to keep them, and that's what it kind of boils down to. Now we are back to the Azalea, and we find out that there's these different ordinances that are being passed where they want to segregate Storyville. They want all of the prostitutes of color to move across the canal, which is going against Louis's whole business plan, right? Because we know that he bought this sporting house, as they called it then, and his plan was to run his girls. The business was booming, but now with these new ordinances, they're trying to push him out, basically, is what's happening. And so he's kind of figuring out what he needs to do. At his poker game, he lets the fellas know, listen, I gave each of my girls a stake in the building, so we're gonna get our way out of this ordinance. And they're like, you think you're slick right now, but that's not gonna work. Okay, that's not going to work because they are determined. And, Louis is like, all right, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now we are there and someone comes looking for Louis. And we are like, who's coming looking for Louis? And we meet Jonah, honey, a previous dalliance of Louis. Apparently, Louis met him when Jonah was 16 and Louis was older. I don't know what that means. Don't tell me you a predator, Louis. Don't say that. Say you were like 18. They start conversing and he's like, dang, I went to the house. I saw Grace and the kids, but you weren't there. They told me I could find you here. It looks like you're doing well for yourself. It looks like, you're doing amazingly well, all this stuff. And baby, yeah, they remembered them nights when they're young. Okay. And he basically says, I'm only here for a couple nights. I've been doing odd jobs to increase my rank. And Louis like, so have I. If you think this place is nice, come see my car. And I'm like, all right, Big Daddy. All right, you flexing? You flexing, Louis? You flexing? And so they get to discussing, and the man's basically talking about in Europe, he feels freer to be who he is. And Louis says, I have someone, but he's okay with this. And baby, they hunching in the woods. I guess just got some sloppy toppy, more like. And I was like, is Louis gonna eat him? Because he started biting his arm and all the things. I said, okay. Back home, Lestat, everyone was fine. Antoinette then went home. He said he's getting bored of her. Yeah, right. But as they are about to get in the coffin for the night, Louis sees the muddy boots. Baby, why was Lestat there the whole time? Talking about, I heard your hearts dancing together. Lestat, shut up. You are so jealous. And we'll get into that later on in the episode because they have a very interesting exchange. Also, I forgot to say, at the card game, Louis reading their thoughts, reading their minds, and, he feels like there's a boot on his neck is what Louis says. And he's becoming more vocal because he finally does have power. I mean, he's a vampire, for heaven's sakes. He's got power. And so, honey, now Louis decides that he wants to go back home. He wants to go back and visit Grace and the girls. It's their birthday. He couldn't make the birthday party. Plus, he wasn't invited. And when he gets there, Mama is like, why are you here? Oh, the devil moves at night. Let me see. Oh, yeah, this is the devil. She said, you're not welcome in my house. He said, this is my house. I brought these paper dolls for my nieces and I want them to have them. And I mean, then the husband comes out of the sister and they're blocking his way. And Louis is like, I'm just trying to give these dolls. They set themselves up for the okie doke, honey, because he blasts through the front door. And everybody's scared. Grace is like, leave. And I'm like, is this the official goodbye to the family? It was awful. I hate that for him. Present day, Daniel is questioning the muddy boots. Lestat was there with them. Was it raining that night? And Louis like, listen, I don't remember. My mind's so cluttered. And again, Armand in the back. And he said, you're lingering, Rashid, because Armand wanted to be there to mess up your mind. That's what that was about. Louis says he met Jonah decades later. You know, they were in passing. Now, after leaving the house, Louis goes back home to the townhouse with Lestat, okay? And Lestat got the whole army in there. Apparently, the power was cut at the Azalea, and the Azalea is now closed until further notice. And he's pissed. Louis pissed. Louis went and put a for colors only sign on the door, no whites allowed, okay? And he goes to meet with the powers that be, okay? And they said he's a tedious Negro, claiming his Creole heritage. And again, you know, and it's an interesting conversation to have when we think about the free people of color in Louisiana mid Civil War, post Civil War, and the distinction that was made between them and black people, right? Based on their proximity to whiteness and how they could pass and how they could fare in terms of skin color. And so I think that was interesting that this man is thinking these thoughts about Louis as they're there. And so again, they're saying you need to move your sporting house to the quarter. We told you this was coming. And now they're offering him 15 cents on the dollar for his place. And he goes manic. Louis loses it. He's sick of all them. Okay. And so he goes and makes personal visits to the house at night. And yeah, that man tried to talk slick. And I'm like, why are you talking slick? Just don't say anything, because Louis is not tied tight right now. You can't see the look in his eyes. When I tell you he rips this man to shreds and puts him on display in the square, that's exactly what he did. And I think Lestat is proud at this point. He says, let's make this our anniversary. You're finally embracing who you are. And this is when Louis says to him, look, me and you are never going to work. That's why you'll be alone forever. And I was like, dang, Louis. That's Louis. So, y'all, these glimpses are, listen, and I know unreliable narration or whatever the people say, but honey, Louis came with some zingers. Lestat's face dropped completely. And so now the city is on fire because you know the white tea people are completely upset because Louis has just declared war unofficially on them. And they're burning everything up, beating everything up, setting everything on fire. And enter Claudia. I could save her. My light, my Claudia, my redemption, y'all. And that's how episode 3 ends. I cannot wait to review episode 4. But yeah, y'all, again, I'm seeing with new eyes at this point. And y'all, if you're still here, I have such exciting news. We will be back this Tuesday, okay, to talk all things Interview with a Vampire with the entire panel. I hope you guys can make it. I hope you guys can be there. Thank you so much for your patience. We appreciate you sticking with us through all of this. And if you're still here, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see y'all in the next video.